Well, what's a concept? If you're going to understand a concept, you have to know what a concept is. And the usual description of a concept is the image that a child has of the idea that goes along with it. So really we're talking about pictures. So a child has to have a good picture of a mathematical concept, and that comes in multiple ways. So it's the picture that they start with when they at home. So we start with that picture, and then in the classroom we build it up. So we might use concrete materials, we might use actual pictures of things to help elaborate upon that.
So Cal, what you're essentially talking about are the language stages of development, which begin really with the child's language at home, right?
That's right. So we use as our guide to helping students understand what something is the language that goes along with each of the things I've just described. So the first language is what you see at home, and child experiences at home and has a picture from home.
So when it comes to subtraction, you might be talking about eating chocolate, right, or breaking eggs or something like that.
That's right. So that's language that's natural to the child and is the starting point for what we do and everything. So we use storybooks, and those storybooks have examples of things from home, or they have fantasy things that children are familiar with. But that's how we begin the development.
And all that natural language starts building up a picture of, in this case, what subtraction really is.
That's correct.
And so you have to include all that language. And then we have to start modeling that in the classroom, and we develop a different kind of language, don't we?
That's correct. So when you're in the classroom, you get out the blocks to act out the stories that they would have heard from home, and then those blocks are removed, so we start to use language like take away and so forth.
Cover up.
Cover up. So the language is new possibly to what the child's heard, so we're adding to the language development of the child.
And that's key, what you just said, we're adding to it, as opposed to moving them to that and narrowing the language. No, we're adding to this pool of language. And then you've got to start using more mathematical language, so not just cover up or take away, which could be considered still mathematical. There's other languages, isn't there?
There's a range of language we associate with each operation, and then it gets really technical with the formal language of mathematics. Along the way, we want to make sure that we're not just making the leap from concrete to the symbols. We also use pictures. I think that's picture material.
The Common Core clearly states using it with words all the way through to symbolic. So there's a range there, and it clearly states it. Right. So it's important that we cover all those stages.
Well, that's something that's actually come from a lot of research in terms of how we know children develop and what provides meaning for the symbols when they get to the symbolic aspect of mathematics.
Which is great, because all too often in the past we move far too quickly to the symbolic, and therefore they lack the bigger picture, the bigger understanding.
Or we go to the symbols and we forget all the other things, and we only stay with the symbols. We forget all the other things being there to support continued development.
That's right.